everyone. This is Frank Demora, and this is the last Chronicles of Planet Earth. And if this is the first time you actually ran into my YouTube channel, I'd like to invite you to my prophecy site, where I usually post almost every day. And right now I'm on a short break, but I wanted to show you something of importance since we're just coming out of the Christmas holiday. This morning I put up a post, and it showed you some priests, and you're going to see here in a second, some priests who were fighting in a church.
It's hard to believe these pictures show a fight taking place in the Basilica of the Nativity in Bethlehem.
Now the Basilica is one of the most famous churches in Bethlehem. And you have two sects of people that are running it, and they're both priests, and they are fighting like cats and dogs. And obviously these are not the traits that Jesus Christ has given his true believers. Now in my post, I listed some scriptures that shows you what Jesus thought about religious men. And how he did call some religious men, the scribes and the Pharisees, vipers, snakes, and he warned us that if our lives were going to be like the scribes and the Pharisees, and obviously if he said they wouldn't enter into heaven, then we should pay notice to what Jesus tells us. Now, I want to in turn show you some real men of God, and I am overwhelmed by these men and what they're doing, and I am totally blessed by these men. Now I'm going to show you some pictures of some real men of the Lord. Now the men that I was blessed to hook up with in Africa, you'll see a list of these men: Pastor Titus and Francis and Pastor David. Have gone out to Mount, as you can see here, Elgon, which is in Africa. And we have been supporting the pastors, Timothy Moore and myself, and been sending my work, the last Chronicles of Planet Earth, to the pastors as much as we can, and also sending Bibles, so that not only will they have the information about the last days, but we want to drive the people to the word of the Lord, the Bible. So we're supplying both my book and the Bibles to as many people as the Lord will allow us. But recently there was another mission that went out, and Pastor Titus took out some other pastors with him, as you see from one of the posters that they had made about the Last Chronicles outreach team. And here are some of the men, real men of God, not violent men, but men who love Jesus Christ, that have taken the message of salvation out. And here are some of the men, as you see Pastor Francis and then Pastor Enoch as well. Now I want to show you some of the pictures that they sent me on this mission trip this December. Now, we thank the Lord who provided the funds. We're able to provide transportation vehicle for Pastor Titus to drive around, because he's taken the missions to different places in Africa, and he's such a blessing. And I am totally humbled by this man, and just I'm really overwhelmed that the Lord has used my work, to fall into hands of such a blessed man to take the work out. And so here are some of the pictures of what has happened at Mount Eldon in Africa. You see Pastor Titus here is they pull up into the different areas that they're preaching it, and they'll just start preaching Jesus Christ to the people. And here we have one of the leaders praying with and for the children on this mission. And here we have the prayer teams praising Jesus Christ. See some of the services and the gathering the people together, praising and worshiping the Lord, again at Mount Elgon. Is one of the outdoor services that they held. And you see that Jesus is bringing the people. One of the outdoor services, Pastor Titus, as you see, preaching to the people, and people were coming out. There's a woman who's given her life to the Lord Jesus Christ. Pastor Titus is praying with the people again, you see at Mount Elgon. He's taken his team, the Last Chronicles of team, and they've gone into the different homes as they're going through the area, inviting people to the services. Here's one of the night services that they held. Outdoor services during the day. Pastor Titus is preaching again. People giving their lives to Christ. This is one of the altar calls that they had. And the blessed women who were with Pastor Titus' team, cooking for the ministry. And people inviting more people as they drove around with the banner on the van. They were just inviting people to the services. And so you see the work of the Lord Jesus Christ, the real men of God, doing the work in the field. And I am completely humbled by these men. And when I first looked at the pictures, I looked, and the first impression that I got is, I am really not worthy. I mean, these men are unbelievable men of God. They're doing the work of the Lord in Africa, in the field, and it has become dangerous. They met a lot of obstacles, a lot of people who didn't want them there, but the Lord provided and kept them all safe. So I just wanted to show you some of the pictures that were sent to me, because this is definitely a blessing. And for those who've been praying for the Last Chronicles of Planet Earth ministry, you can see that the Lord is expanding the ministry and using blessed men like Pastor Titus and the rest of the pastors who the Pastor Titus took along to this mission on December 21st through the 25th. I wanted to share this with you. It really is my blessing that I'm sharing, and I would ask you to please continue to pray for all of these pastors who have taken on the book and that are using the book to win souls to Jesus Christ. These are real men of God.